Okay, so for page 4, you need 2 A pieces. Your A pieces are going to measure 8 by 7 3/8, so 2 of those. You will need 3 B pieces, and they will measure 8 1/4 by 7 1/2. Your C pieces, you'll need 6 C pieces, and they will measure 6 inches by 4 1/8. 6 of those. And then 3 D pieces, and they measure 1 1/2 by 6 1/4, and they're hinges. They'll be large hinges, like wide hinges. Okay, so those are the pieces you will need, and now we can bring out our scoreboard. Begin by scoring each of your A pieces at half and at 5/8 along the 8-inch side. So 8 inches is at, 8 inches is at the top here. So 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch. So making a little gusset. Okay, there we go. So do that to your A pieces. Okay, so each of the B pieces, there's a lot we have to do to these. So begin by having it on the 8 1/4 inch side. We're going to score at 2. 2 1/8. 6 3/8. Okay, so 2, 2 1/8, 6 3/8. So all 3 of those are along the 8 1/4 inch side. So now turn this 90 degrees so that the double score line is at the top. Score at 5/8. And 6 7/8. Okay, and now you've 2 more score lines to go. These ones will be at half and at 7. So they are going to go not all the way down. They're just going to go to the, when they hit this lower score line. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up closer so you can see. So the 1/2 inch and the 7 only go as far as this bottom horizontal score line. Okay, so this is what you've got. Now you're going to do that for each of your B pieces. Okay, so do that to each of your B's, and I'm going to do that off camera just because there's quite a few score lines, so we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got all 3 of your C pieces now should be scored like that, or sorry, B pieces. Your C pieces do not get scored. You don't need to do anything to those. And then we've got your D pieces, so they will be hinges. So we're going to score them down the center, which is at 3/4 of an inch. So each of those 3/4 of an inch on the 1 1/2 inch side. Okay, and now you can put your scoreboard away, and it's time to add some score tape. So C's don't need anything, the hinges. If you've got a thicker score tape, that would be a great time to use it. You should be able to fit 2 strips of the narrower score tape. It's 1/4 of an inch, so you should be able to do 2 strips here. Now normally the hinges are only 1 inch. I'm doing them a little bit thicker simply because I wanted there to be a little bit more space in between the pieces these are putting together, and B, I just wanted them to be a little bit more sturdy. What they're going to be attached to is going to have quite a few layers to it, so I wanted them to be pretty heavy duty and hardcore hinges. And I'm going to need some more score tape. Okay, just need another score tape. Okay, so let's do the A pieces here. Okay, now we can miter the corners of the A's and the D's. The B's are going to require a little bit extra. So let's just quickly do this. There's the A's. And okay, let's get this out of the way. And work on these B pieces. So with put it on your table with the horizontal double score lines at the top. Okay, horizontal ones at the top. And we are going to cut out these top 2 little sections. So we're going to cut. Okay, so we're going to cut in to the inside score line. Alright, so see how that, so we've cut to the second horizontal score line and into the inside, inside score line here. Okay, does that make sense? That's what it should look like anyway. Alright, so do that to all 3 of them. You're also going to notch out a little triangle right there, and right there on each piece. Okay, so do this to all 3 of them, and then we're going to add some score tape to them. You can always do the notch afterwards as well, because the notch is basically what we're doing is just mitering that corner. So you can do it afterwards as well. So we're going to be adding score tape here and here. Okay, so if you haven't done the notch already, you can put the score tape all the way along that edge and then do the notch. That is fine too. Either way. What this, cutting this little notch, what that is enabling is just so that these 2 pieces can work independently of each other. Because these 2 flaps are going to fold in and then adhere like this to create a pocket, right? So these edges also get mitered. And these edges get mitered. Alright, fabulous. So that's what it looks like. Everybody's with me so far? Get these little bitties out of the way. Each of those or B pieces. So turning this valley into a mountain. Alright, and then each of these little flaps is going to fold in. Alright. So take the score tape backing off of these, and we'll just make these into little pockets. Oops. Okay, that's a little pocket there. And get these, all the rest of your score lines folded. And use your bone folder. I'm going to find mine in a second. I know it's a lot of little piddly score lines to fold, but they really do make a difference. That just that tiny little 1/8 of an inch just like makes things work together so much better. Okay, I'm going to actually fold all these off camera, so just get all your score lines folded and creased. I'm going to do that off camera just because there is so many, and I will be right back. So once you have your B pieces all folded and creased, grab your C pieces, and we are going to adhere the C pieces to either side of these B's. Okay, so remove the score tape backing from one side and adhere one of the C pieces down. There we go, and then the other one will go on the other side. Oh, I hope my head's not in the way. No, it's not. Okay. Perfect. So that is that. Oh, it's a little bit crooked. But now we will add a magnet to hold this closed. If you prefer, you can have a magnet closing the C flap to the C flap, and then have maybe a swing tab here. I think I'm going to have a magnet closing this flap over top of the two of them, but again, feel free to do as you would like to do. Oh, oops. Okay, another little piece of score tape. There we go. Remove the backing for that one. Okay, close it down, and there we go. Now we're going to do the exact same thing for the other two BC combos. So remove the score tape backing from one side of your second B, add a C. Maybe try and get it straighter. Okay, there's one. And the other side. And you can have them closing however you like, right over left, left over right. Doesn't really matter, however you prefer. Okay, there's the second one, and the third one. Excellent. One more magnet, And then we'll move on. Okay, so once you've got all three of those to that point, now we are going to grab our hinges. So remove the score tape backing just from one half of the hinge. Okay, and we're going to adhere the hinge with the opening on the bottom, okay, facing down, and we're going to adhere it to the back of your BC combo piece here, right at the top on the back. Okay, so here is the other half of that hinge. Okay, just like that. So do that to all three of them. And the last one. Alright, okay, now set those aside for just a second and we will bring in our base page. So we're on page 4. Here we go. Here it is, I found it. Alright, so this was page 3. So we're going to flip this over, page 4, and grab your 2A pieces. They are going to go on the left and the right side of your base page. Your flaps, your little half-inch flaps are to the right. So we are going to adhere these to the right and the left. Okay, and the other one on the right hand side here. Okay, perfect. So now you've probably guessed what's happening here. We are going to be putting our three BCD pieces like this. So that first one will go on the top. Then you flip it open and the next one will go below it, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of a space there, and then the next one will go below that. So there'll be 3 of them kind of in the center. So here is where you can choose to either put a solid or a piece of pattern paper down first, okay, or so this is that option. So we've got a piece of paper here, so we could put some pattern paper down first and then put all 3 of these down, and then we would just have to decorate that one little strip. Alternatively, you could do something like, you know, say a piece down here. It's hard to do with things not actually adhered down, but just to give you an idea. So that would be down there, and then you could have, you know, a piece here and a piece here on the sides, and then as you lift these up, you could have another kind of paper piece in here. So I mean, feel free, you can do it either way. It's dependent on the look that you're going for. So what I'm trying to say is, if you put the pieces down now without, you don't know what kind of pattern paper you want, and you put the pieces down now, you can still totally work with that. I personally am going to put down a piece now, and then add these. Alright, so I'm just going to do that. Okay. Oh, got a little crazy with the adhesive there. Okay, perfect. So, let's put this down. Although, actually, I'm just going to keep this tiny little lip up so that I can put the first one underneath the edge of this paper. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to try and measure this. I'm going to eyeball it. I'll just eyeball it. Okay, so I want this to be as centered as I can. Okay, this isn't quite as easy as I thought it was going to be. So, this is 4.5. Okay, so, oh, sorry, my head gets in the way, folks. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting that first hinge underneath this piece of paper. Okay? And then the next one will go a little ways under that. So I kind of want them to be spaced out enough so that one starts at the top and one ends at the bottom. So I might kind of just do this and put this one down first, like that, and then I kind of know where to put the last one. So this one I kind of want in between the two of them, right? So that it does that. So remove the backing from the last one. Alternatively, if you wanted to do something, if you didn't want to waterfall them, if you wanted to do something different, you could have one coming from the top and one from the bottom, or one from each side, or you don't have to have them in a waterfall. You can completely, you know, arrange them in the way that you would like them to go. Alright, so that looks about good, so I'm going to do that. And so now I just have to put a little piece of orange here and a little strip of orange here to cover those up. But now I want a couple magnets to hold these kind of closed, right? To hold them down a little bit more. So I'm going to put one magnet on the top of, back top of this one here, the top one. Do a little magnet sandwich. Oops. And okay, so there's that one. Ooh, it landed a little bit close. Let's see if we can't move it just a tiny bit. I don't want it half and half on the on this closure. So let's see if we can't do that again and see if it hits. There we go, that's better. So there, just below where this lifts, that we can deal with. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, hopefully that is right below. Yeah, perfect. Alright, now you might also want to put one going down to the base page. I might do that and then just kind of add, yeah, I think I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to add an ephemera card or something down here, I think, to cover that magnet is my plan. Another piece of score tape. That might be a little bit large, but we'll work with it. Okay, excellent. And now we're just going to close these two flaps over each other, and we will put a magnet closing these flaps together as well. Okay, there we go. So now for this page and page 5, I'll be working with the oranges and greens, or peaches and greens, I guess it is. So I'm going to start some of the decorating, and then I will come back and do the rest with you. But I'm going to do the beginning here because there's a lot of pieces on the inside here, an awful lot. So I'm going to do at least the inside pieces, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Okay, so I admit I got a little carried away, and I put a lot of the papers on. I meant to do a little bit more on camera, and I kind of got carried away with it. So on the front, just plain. Alright, and then you open it up, and inside I tried to use as many scraps as I could because there's a lot of small pieces. So I tried to use as many small pieces and scraps as I could to use up the paper collection, right? And so I kind of alternated. The first one and the third one are more in the orange tones, and the middle one is mostly green. So that's kind of what I did. Again, it's completely up to you, your album. This is kind of just what I'm doing. I think this is actually my favorite paper from the entire collection. If I could just make an album with like variations on a theme of this, I would. I just love this paper, but I'm using the backside for this part. Now this is slightly too small for the pocket. I would have liked to have had it bigger. However, it was the only piece of this particular paper that I had left, so I decided to just, you know, there's a little bit bigger of a border than normal, but I'm okay with that. Alright, so when it's closed, you know, it looks like it alternates. So green up here, and I mean, you don't have to do that, again, totally up to you. Now again, this piece of paper wasn't quite big enough, so I just added some borders, and because I did it there, I also did it on this bottom one, just a slight variation on that, just so they kind of matched. I kind of just try and make everything as cohesive as possible. So, put down the last few here. Alright, and what do we have in here? Okay, no, still not entirely sold on these bright green. I kind of ran out of scraps, so I used like a plain cardstock. I'm not entirely sold on it. I'm trying to decide if I should change that or not. I just feel like maybe it's just a little bit too bright, perhaps. Okay, I'm going to put this one in, and I'm going to see if I have any other alternatives. Okay, now let me see if there's any other green. I'm thinking I'm going to use this instead. So, for down here, need a piece that is 6 by 1 5/8. Okay, and then up here, about just over 1 3/4. Okay. Alright, so I'll just quickly ink these up, get rid of these green ones. Okie dokie, let's put these on. There we go, this one. All right, there's that. I think I like the green on the outside better. Yeah, like that. Okay, and then I think there's just a couple left in here. Yep, same ones. Okay, so again, this one kind of mirrored the first one. Oh, my tape runner is giving me grief this morning. All right. Okay, so once you have all of those papers on, I did, because I put my pattern paper on before adding these, I had to add the 2 little strips here that you can't even see once they're down. And then I've forgotten to add that magnet. So got this magnet. I'm just going to put some kind of ephemera card or sticker or something there to cover up that magnet. So close those up, and then this closes, and then I wanted to do something, oops, sorry, this one and then this one. I wanted to do something a little bit different on the closure instead of just swing tabs. So, I have a tag from the Pockets and Tags that was perfect. It had the green and the plaid. Sorry, the sun's right there. It's hard to see. There we go, that one. So what I've done is I've put two magnets, like a magnet here and a magnet here on the back side, covered it in cardstock and cut around it. And then I put two more magnets on the back, just like this, like just let them adhere. And I put another one down there. And then I put score tape on those and stuck them down before I put this piece of pattern paper on. Sorry, I'd meant to show you that, but easy peasy. So magnets on the back, line it up to where you want it to go. What I'm going to do is glue down this side. So then this piece will just slide underneath and lock down. So you can use score tape, but I figure if I want to use glue, because that way this piece doesn't get stuck at all on any excess adhesive from using score tape. So I'm just going to put some wet adhesive on this back side, just to the halfway point. You just want it to glue to this side. Okay, so I'm using the Tombow Aqua liquid glue. I prefer the Tombow white, but I have lots of this, so this is what I'm using. And now what we're going to do is let this kind of find its magnet counterparts, and then push down here and let this half adhere. And then I will be doing something else to embellish this part. I just haven't figured out exactly what yet, so maybe if I could find an ephemera card with this little particular fairy on there or something. We shall see. Alright, so that's going to take a few minutes to really get stuck, but there we have it. That is, what are we at? It's page 4, right? Yes.